just real quick of having, I mean, I think that's a genius tip of having customers who have sent you pictures,
Oh yeah.
asking them permission. And so two questions there, just tactically. Number one, how do you get more of your customers to send you pictures? And number two, what do you need to do for permission? Do you just email them and say, hey, can I use this? And then they email back and say yes. And then you just archive that email, or how do you do it?
Yeah, today I got an email that somebody sent me a picture. People send me pictures all the time. It's kind of, they want me to see what happened with how they did their cake or whatever. But today, just this morning, someone sent me a picture of a cake that she had made with some of my wafer paper. It was really pretty, and I wrote her back in a convo. She sent it to me in a convo and said, I said, can I use this in the listing photo and I'll give you credit for it? And she has not written me back yet because it was just this morning. But if people leave a photo in a review, and a lot of people like to leave photos, just send them a convo through the Etsy system and just say, thanks for the review. I love seeing pictures of my products, in use. And do you mind if I use that in the listing photo, and I'll give you credit? And then when you put the photo in the listing, just say photo by in the customer's name or whatever. But as long as you give people credit, they love that. And they love putting pictures up. And if you ask customers when you send the item, if you put a little note in that says, if you love this, please leave a photo with your review, and here's the link to the review page. And you can put the link to the review page in there. That gives them the link to click. They don't have to search for it. People love leaving photos. Plus, you can only leave a photo if they leave a 5-star review. So if they're leaving a photo, the review has to be 5 stars, and then that helps your ratings. So there are strategies that you can use all the time that will increase your shop quality rating, and it's pretty easy to do if you work with your customers.
That's awesome. That's a great insider tip. So yeah, if they're wanting to share that photo with you, they can't they can't share that photo with you, or they can't share the photo in the review. They can share it with you in combo, but they can't share it.
No, they can post a photo on the review from the app. They have to do it from the app.
And when they do that, they have to leave a 5-star review right now.
Yes.
Great. Okay, that's a fantastic tip.
Mm-hmm.
So what is your strategy? Let's talk a little bit now about some of your strategies on. I mean, you have an Etsy shop. You've got 1,000 listings. That's just a net that you're dragging through the ocean, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And every day you go in and you check your net and you say, hey, I've got 5 orders, 7 orders, whatever. And then you go and fulfill those orders, right? You make the mold. Presumably you have, let me just ask this question because I don't know.
Okay.
But these molds, lace silicone. So let's look at the lace silicone because that's interesting. So if somebody orders this diamond rhinestone mold from you for $10, then you literally have this somewhere in your home, and you just go grab it and you make a mold, right? And then you put it and you ship it. But then you're also here collecting, let's see, right here, you're collecting email addresses, or you're sending them to your YouTube. Okay, here let me just go to that. So you're collecting.
Yeah, you're going to have to type it in.
So tell me, what I'm asking is, what is your kind of more macro strategy here? You're selling on Etsy to get the orders. Everybody that's what everybody thinks Etsy's for, but you're taking it one step further, or several steps further. And you're saying, well, I'm going to also use this to generate an email, to grow an email list. And I'm going to use it here in your next carousel image. Go to YouTube, product demos, playlist for decorating tips. So you're also moving people to YouTube, and then you have some social media and you have your website. So that's kind of macro. What is your overall strategy in doing that while I'm pulling up that link?
It's fine. It's to increase the traffic to my website and just build my mailing list. That's kind of mailing list strategy. And there's also a sign up on my website. I don't know if you have that up, but The mailing list, I have several mailing lists, and one is specifically for cake products. And I send out weekly emails, so I want to get people onto that list. And to do that, you give them the 20% discount code, and it will, it gets customers to come back to your shop. And you can go to the code, my discount code is good forever, and it's good for Etsy and my website. And I don't put restrictions on that because I don't care. If somebody wants to come back and be a repeat customer for me, that's a lot easier than finding a new customer. And my overall goal is to send people to my website because obviously there are fewer fees there, but it's the same products for the most part. I do have my prices are a little lower on my website for some things, and but that's basically the goal, is to get people on the mailing list and to send them to my website. And everything that I have in social media points to my website, not to Etsy. So basically on my Etsy shop, I'm relying on like organic traffic on Etsy and Google traffic to Etsy. But all of my social media and all that goes to my website because I want to build that up. And I definitely just want that presence in case something happens and Etsy goes out of business. I'm not going to be in trouble. I'll still have a place to sell, and it's all the same stuff.
I see. And so the different lists, can we talk about that for a second? That's really, I've never heard that, that you're building two separate lists. Normally people build one list and they segment after that. What is your strategy in building two different lists, and what are the lists? Like one of them is for cake makers, the other one's for people users, or how does that work? No,
my different lists are mainly for one is like an introductory email segment that's got it's an automated series, like a welcome email series. And then I move them to my main mailing list after the series is over. And that's the second list. And then I have other email lists for my courses and that kind of thing. So those aren't the same. That's not the same customer base. So it's basically a list for each customer base. And you're not going to send the same sales emails to people who are interested in my Etsy course as the people who are decorating a cake. So it's easier for me to just keep everything on separate lists than just to segment them because it gets too messy. So
yeah, that's interesting. So tell us a little bit about the courses you have. What, when you're building a course. So is that, I'm sorry, let me back up. Is that why you're sending traffic here to YouTube, to your YouTube account?
No, I send traffic to YouTube because the product demo playlist is great for letting people see the fact that they can make these things, they can use these products, and it's easy. So yeah, find the playlist, and the product demo playlist has a lot of, like there's one for silicone molds, I've got ones with product demos. If somebody has a question and they're looking at a mold saying, I don't know if I can use this, this is a really good example, because to make a pine cone mold, it's tricky, but they're looking at this saying, I don't know if I can use this, I don't know how to use it, and then I can just send them to the video, and the video explains it, they feel more comfortable with it, it removes that friction point of them saying, I don't know if I'll be able to use this the right way, and then they go and buy it. But when they get to YouTube, all of the links go to my website. So, maybe they'll go buy it on my website. Most likely they'll go back to Etsy because that's where they started. But I just have all the information about using the products on the YouTube channel, and it's just a visual medium. And then I can embed it in the website. See, there's a listing, and there it is. So video is an excellent way to get people to see your products, regardless of whether it's something they're making. I'm pushing YouTube on the people in my course now because a lot of people are very afraid to do video, but it's the most valuable way that you can get people comfortable with your products and feel like they want to buy it and feel like they'll be able to use it successfully and not worry about it.
Okay, so that is genius. But let me slow it down because.
Okay, I know.
This is. You're an advanced seller, but for some of our attendees, they may be like, what did she just say? Hold on.
Okay.
So let's walk them through the steps. So you have now we're starting with your YouTube channel, and you have like 17,000. Yeah, there we go. 17,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
And we'll come back to that in a second.
Okay.
You don't have to have a lot of subscribers to start this process. Okay. How you get subscribers is you start the process, right?
That's a different issue. Yeah.
Right. So you have on your Etsy listing. So
if you want to start there again, I can walk through it again and be more simple. I know, because I'm starting to get into sales and marketing strategy, but I know what you mean. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's perfect. I just want to make sure that I'm tracking. So I'm on your Etsy. I'm on Etsy.
Uh-huh.
There's your shop right there. This is for people who are kind of new. And these are your carousel images. And then in one of your carousel images, you have a link to your YouTube channel.
Right.
And then are you calling, and then you're calling them out. Your call to action here is the product demo playlist, okay, for decorating tips. So when I go to that link, hold on one second, let me go back. Okay, it's to your, so the link is to your actual YouTube account, not to the playlist. Is there a reason you send them to the account general as opposed to the playlist?
Yes, just because I don't want to get too specific, and it's better to send them to my overall channel, and then they'll subscribe just to the channel or whatever, but they can look through the whole thing. And the idea is that when they get to my YouTube channel, they might say, oh, she's also got videos on cake flours, on wafer paper. It's not just the product demos. So I want people to get to the channel and see all of their options, as opposed to sending them to one specific place where they might not ever go off of that.
Oh, that's great. That's an awesome tip. Okay, so then they go to, they're coming, so we start in Etsy, we look at the listing, we're flipping through carousel, we see, oh, she has a YouTube channel with playlists on how to do these things. They land on your YouTube channel, they type it in organically in the address bar. They find product demos, they go to this product demo playlist, which is fantastic because it has like, wow, that's crazy, like 54 videos, so they can binge watch.
I need to put more on there, I know.
So they can binge watch these. And so the video is how to use the pinecone silicone mold. Oh, okay, I get it. So you're going to order the mold, and if you're not too sure how to use a more sophisticated mold like this, like, obviously a cake decorator would be trained in this, but soccer mom may not be, or soccer dad. Yeah. And so they're like, oh, cool, she's got a video that she's going to walk me through step by step. Oh, I see.
Yes, I'm using it and building it as I'm using the pieces from the mold. I'm showing how to put it in the mold, how to put it all together. And by the time someone is done watching this, they're thinking, I can do that. I'm not afraid of this anymore. And then it takes that point of that. It's the fight or flight response. It's consumer psychology that when people aren't sure about something, they'll run away and they won't buy it. So this is just one step that I offer in case people need to see, yes, this is possible for me to do this. And by offering this as something that you can put the links in your description. It's not going to be a live link, but it will tell people this is available to you and you can check it out if you want to. And by showing them the product in action, or if you sell jewelry, you can show it on you so they can see the scale of it. It's not just for supplies. This could be for anything. And people will see it and they'll just feel more comfortable about it, because when you buy something online, it's really kind of a crapshoot. You don't know if you're going to get what you ordered. You don't know if you're going to be able to use it the right way. And especially with my products being supplies and things that you have to use like this, people might get this set in the mail and not know what to do with it. So this video will tell them what to do with it. It gets them over that fear of the unknown, and they're more likely to buy.
Yeah, that's a great tip for those of us who creatives out there who sell something that has a little kind of a DIY component. Okay, and then you mention it in the listing itself. Let me go back to that listing here. And so you said you mentioned the video.
I might. Sometimes I do, and sometimes I just put the picture up there.
I got you. But but are you advocating that people put a link in the description here to that video?
You can if you want to, and
Okay.
the only links that are live on Etsy are the ones that go to other parts of Etsy. So it's just going to be a link, and it won't be a hot link that you can click and go to, but they can copy and paste it. But it's definitely something that people should consider doing, I would say.
Okay, perfect. That's a great tip.
Mm-hmm.
So then, so then you have your email list that you're building here. Now,
Mm-hmm.
do you walk students with your, let's talk about your courses.
Okay.
What course, okay, so you have how many different courses?
I have two kind of large courses, which is the Turtle Wins the Race course, and that's for creatives who want to figure out why they're getting in their own way and are not being productive. I think that's just going to take you to the sign up. Go to turtlewinstherace.com. That's the link for it. And this is kind of this is more of a mindset course, and it touches on productivity and your attitudes toward money and your attitudes toward your own work, and why you might have a voice inside your head that says you can't do it when you're perfectly capable of doing it. But that's one of my main courses. The other main course is the eShop Success course, which is only open twice a year because it's in a wait list now. You can sign up for the mailing list, but it's on a wait list. But it's a 6-month set of webinars that I do live, and it's about e-commerce. It's specifically, there are sections specifically for Etsy sellers, but it's principles of consumer psychology and marketing, both on and off Etsy. All of these are principles that can drive traffic to your website. I have experts come in about public relations and being your own PR agent. I've got the guys from Marmalade are my SEO people, and they do live webinars for me. And it's just a whole program about marketing and e-commerce shop, like any kind of business for handmade businesses, home-based businesses, that kind of thing. So it's very comprehensive. There's a lot in there. I had someone say it's like information overload in a good way. So there's that. And then I have a couple of smaller courses, and I'm working on another one right now for Pinterest, but I have one on how to set up a mailing list if you don't have that. And that's really important. You need to have a mailing list. And the other one is promoted listings, which I am holding back on at this point because Etsy is changing their ads around right now, but that's going to be up again, probably toward the end of the month, maybe. But so I have 2 main courses and then a bunch of little ones, basically. Keep it simple.
I gotcha. Okay, perfect. Yeah. So that actually leads me into another question of traffic generation. Mm-hmm. So I know that your what you're known for, your forte is on, teaching someone, how to fish as opposed to giving them a fish, teaching the psychology behind the buyer and the seller side. But how are you with your traffic strategies? If you're looking at your business as a whole, mm-hmm. Again, it's usually, when I ask this question, it's usually the 80-20 rule. 80% of my traffic comes from 20% of these activities I'm doing over here. Mm-hmm. Have you found the same thing with when you're looking at all your traffic together, Pinterest traffic, Instagram traffic, Etsy traffic? When you're, I guess the best way to ask this question might be, when you sit down to your computer and you have an hour's worth of time, mm-hmm. and you say, I'm going to spend this hour working on traffic. What is your highest ROI traffic generation in that hour?
Probably YouTube, because I do a lot of videos like the product demos. I can tell when I do a new product demo that I will start selling that on my website immediately.
Wow.
It's YouTube and my mailing list. When I send an email out, I get sales. So those are the 2 places that I should be putting most of my effort. And it's funny though, because on Etsy and on my website, I get traffic from very different sources. It's a different mix. I mean, it's all obviously the same sources, but it's a very different mix because my social media is all directed at my website. And I do get social media traffic to Etsy, but that's mostly other people pinning my stuff or linking to my stuff. because I don't do a lot of pinning directly to Etsy, and I'm sure I have in the past, so I get some traffic from that. But it's, in general, I would say YouTube and my mailing list are the two places that I get the most traffic to my website. And then on Etsy, I just have generated enough sales that I get momentum there from organic traffic and from Google. I get organic Google traffic. I don't do Google ads, but if I'm going to sit for an hour and work, it's going to be on YouTube and my mailing list. We'll just sum it up that way.
I see. That's yeah. And scrolling through your just your listing of videos on your YouTube page by release date, it looks like a lot of recent ones have been on the teaching side.
Yeah.
Except a DIY flower kit, how to make them. So you're kind of, it looks like you're sort of, one day you might do a teaching video on helping people sell their crafts, and then another day you're making a video on the molds and things like that. Is that kind of how you do things, or do you say, hey, this month I'm going to do this and that, and the next month I'm going to do that? How do you divide up your time?
I do a lot of the Etsy stuff I do it on the fly. I don't really have a schedule. I tried to do that and it just gets too much. So I've got templates set up for the cover photos. I can do a quick video, and while it's uploading, I'll edit the cover photo and do all that. But I really do need to put more product demos on, because that's what drives a lot of my sales. And yeah, it's really kind of become more of a teaching thing. But most of my traffic on YouTube, some of my most popular videos are how to get a gold shine on fondant. It's still, I get a lot of cake video plays on that. Yeah, see how to get a gold shine on fondant. That's one of my most popular videos that people are always watching, because this is a problem that cake decorators have, So see, the quality is not that great. I think that people are afraid of perfection. Perfectionism needs to be destroyed, because as long as you're giving good information, it doesn't have to be 100% perfect, and there's no perfection. So see, this just gives different options, and it gives people different ways of doing it, and it's a useful video that people like, and that's what they're looking for. But I'm not like a believer in you have to have everything on a separate platform if it's a different topic. If people don't want to watch a cake decorating video, they just won't. They'll skip it and go on to the Etsy videos.
Yeah, that's a great tip. I mean, you've got 200 a lot of people talk about, perfectionism and you should just do it and things like that. But seeing it in real, hearing the creator mention it at the same time that we're looking at it, and we can clearly see you've had 210,000 views. That's not, and I'll like it while I'm here. That's not inconsequential. And you're right. This isn't, this isn't Steven Spielberg here. I mean, this is,
this is a bad camera that, it's one of those autofocus cameras. So every time I move it, the focus changes. And I'm just doing the best I can for this, but it gets the information across, and that's all you really need to do. That's
fantastic. And then you, looks like you're populating all your links here, sign up for VIP. So you've got VIP club. So you've got so it looks like you're cross promoting, you've got a video here on how to get shine on fondant, which would be like a cake decorator type person would look at that. But then you're also cross promoting your club to get a discount code for my online shops plus other member. This is sign up. Oh, so this is a VIP club.
This is like a product based. These are the links that I put in for product demos, because it's a product based video. So it's going to my website to sell things. And then on the courses on the videos that I have about Etsy and online commerce and that kind of stuff, I will link to my Turtle Wins the Race website, which is where all my courses are.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. I see. So that's how you're keeping everything sort of in two separate buckets.
Yeah.
At what point did you, let me just look at this for a second.
Okay.
Let me just look at, so 8 years ago, you started with how to make, so the product videos is what you started with.
And like, see the one on how I deliver wedding cakes? That was when I was still doing wedding cakes. So I mean, cakes, everything that we do as creatives and as artists is very visual, and you can easily make videos about it. And I know that in the cake decorating community, there's questions like, how do you deliver wedding cakes? And like on the second row there, the boxes for transporting cakes. This might be like the weirdest topic that you would ever think, but this is something that people really talk about, and it matters for moving a cake. And it matters how you fold the flaps up, because if you fold the flaps up the wrong way, the flap is going to come in and whack your cake and make a big dent in it. So these are things that were actual topics that cake decorators were interested in. So you have to think of your audience, but it's, I'm befuddled when people say are not going to watch my video, because people watch videos of cats choosing what food they're going to eat. There's a whole channel called What Will the Cat Eat? And it's got millions of views. So don't be afraid of that. Just go and make a video of something that is topical to your customer, and they will watch it.
That is awesome advice. Yeah, and I you and I both follow probably a lot of marketers who are experts, and they're into what they do, and their video quality is top notch, and they have hundreds of videos on how to set up your tripods and lighting and 3-source lighting and all this kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, all you really need is a camera. And I mean, this isn't a studio. This looks like your home. This isn't, we're not getting pan shots. We're not getting, L cuts and J cuts and post-production.
Yeah, exactly.
There's nothing sophisticated going on here, but you have 67,000 views. Now, somebody could say, wait a minute, but that's from 2011. But again, here's the good news, people. YouTube does not charge us for uploading videos.
That's right.
Right. So, and I love your point about some of the more, esoteric or specific to someone's needs that isn't necessarily about making a cake, right? I mean, this is something that's important to your followers. So I think that's a great tip. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kara. Have a great day.
I'll talk to you later.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.